what is important for you and how can real estate help you get to your goals and dreams?
Keeping your health a top priority as you're working on business and finances.
We do own real estate, yes, but we are business owners and we run our business in different ways, and we'll kind of get down to some tactical advice and different things that we've learned on our journeys too.
Just getting more rooted in what you want so that you can stop worrying about what other people are thinking. We're about having as little doors as we can to create the lifestyle that we want. Hi friends, welcome to Invested and Rested. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Rihanna.
And we are so excited to be here today. We've been preparing for this podcast for a couple months now, and we are just ready to bring it to you, to the world. And today we're going to really just give you a breakdown of a little bit about how we met and why we decided to start this together, and then get into what this podcast is all about. So you have an idea of what we're going to be talking about, who we're going to be interviewing, and what you're going to learn on this podcast to make sure it's the right fit for you. And then the next two episodes after that, we are going to share about our own stories. So I'll tell you my real estate journey. Rihanna will tell you her real estate journey. And then you'll have a good sense of who we are and what we're doing and what we're talking about, so you can dive into the rest of the podcast and all of our great guests and all of the things that we're going to teach you. We are just super excited. And I would love to start out with our little meet cute.
Rihanna. Cute.
Rihanna, why don't you tell us what you remember of meeting each other?
Yeah, for sure. So Caitlin and I met while we were coaching for another investment mastermind. And we actually met the day before. And it was more like, hey, who are you? You know, where are you from? What do you do? Pretty short conversation. But my idea of what our meet cute was when you saved my life the next day. So we woke up early for yoga. So we were already up for an hour of yoga plus, getting ready and stuff. And I wasn't drinking coffee at this time. And I drank some coffee, and we were waiting on breakfast. We didn't know when it was going to be.
It was taking forever.
It was taking forever. I was so hangry and starting to get shaky. And I'm like, okay, I don't know these people very well. Keep your calm, Rihanna. Don't be a hangry bee. And then Caitlin whips out a Larabar, which I love Larabars. And she saved my life because I was getting so hangry.
Yeah. And I was too. I just gave you half of it because I was like, I need this too. But I will share.
Yes. And oh man, I appreciate that moment. I would have probably gone in the closet and ate it myself.
I know. I have the same feeling when I drink caffeine on an empty stomach. I just feel nauseous and ugh.
Yeah. I wish I could do it. I still try to do it all the time. And I don't know why I haven't learned that lesson yet.
No, I don't know how people do it, but whatever.
Sometimes you need
to have sensitive stomachs, so I'll share.
Yeah, seriously. But then it was really great because the food came, which turns out it's for our sensitive tummies. It was things that we couldn't eat. And this was something I was super nervous about because I'm not particular. I would love to eat everything. It's my stomach that is very sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get up in line. We're so excited the food is finally there. And then I don't know. I just remember being really nervous. I feel like you're the one that initiated it.
I think I did. I was like quietly under my breath. I was like, shoot, I can't eat anything because I'm gluten and dairy free and egg free. And it was literally like eggs mixed with a ton of cheese. And then I forget it was, some potato thing, but it had like soupy stuff in it, which a lot of times has gluten in it, which it did. We found out because we asked. And I was just like, oh my God, we're both sitting. Oh, and then you were like, you can't eat anything? I can't eat anything. We hadn't even gone over that. The Larabar just happened to be gluten and dairy free. So we hadn't even discussed allergies yet.
It was like the moment in Parent Trap when they're like, I forget how it goes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they
Yeah.
just like, I don't have a dad and you don't have a mom. How do you assist us?
Yeah, we're gluten-free sisters.
Yes. And
Yep.
basically, yeah, we ordered
DoorDash,
yep,
smoothies.
DoorDash.
Yeah.
Got some smoothies, which we had to very patiently wait for, but at least it was exciting to know that food was coming for the both of us that could eat different food together.
Yeah, and we didn't have to be like the sole people that were like ordering DoorDash because people are already looking at us like, what are those weirdos like doing
Yeah.
ordering DoorDash? But at least we were together.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
doing it on our own. Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. And then the rest of the weekend, we kind of one of the lunches was sandwiches with deli meat, and Rihanna was like, I don't really just want to like pick out deli meat from a sandwich. So do you want to order something? I was like, yes. So I think we got Chipotle that day.
And you saved me again because I got the wrong Chipotle order that
Yeah,
had
they
cheese
messed up your
all
Chipotle
over it.
with cheese all over it. So we shared that one too. But yeah, we were foodie buddies for the whole weekend.
Yeah. And so then after we were foodie buddies, definitely bonded over that, and obviously ate all of our meals together. We left thinking, okay, well, I'm a coach, but I actually am looking for a coach right now for myself. And Caitlin felt the same way. So afterwards, we decided to connect just on a monthly basis and coach each other.
Yeah, that was awesome because coaches need coaches too, and we were doing it for other women, but there's always room for us to be coached as well and get help and see the blind sides where you can't see it yourself unless you start talking it out. And so we started having these accountability meetings once a month, and then it turned into we were trying to figure out where to go for our next conference and meetup. And we ended up last fall going to Austin for a different conference. And we were pretty much the only ones that knew each other, or we knew only each other. We ended up knowing a few people once we got there, but so we got to hang out for the weekend. And Rihanna's boyfriend came, and he thought my husband was coming. And I show up, and he's like, wait, I'm like crashing this girls' weekend. I thought your husband was going to be here. I was like, no, he was never coming. So Rihanna just never told him. I don't know.
No, I told him. I was just like, honey, you don't listen. I told you I was going to
Yeah.
go to this conference with Caitlin. Goes, can I come? I was like, yeah, of course. Let me see if her husband or someone else wants to come. Not,
Yeah.
he is also coming.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was trying to get my brother to come, but he couldn't come. And yeah, but he never heard the message, but that's okay. He hung with the girls pretty well.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
a good job.
Yeah.
And that at that conference, that's when the idea for this and creating something bigger kind of came into play.
Yeah, we were really starting to think about retreats and how much we both really want to lead retreats. I've always dreamed about leading retreats, and Rihanna had too. And we just started dreaming about a retreat that we want to plan, and we're still dreaming about it. It's still going to happen. We will have a wait list coming up soon for our first retreat. And we both just had this desire to do more small and intimate retreats where you really get to know the women that you're with and learn something, as well as work on your health and your wellness, because like the retreat we were at, the food just really wasn't let's just say complimentary to our lifestyle and feeling good. And that's something that we want to incorporate too, because we found out the more we were like ordering out, the more I found out other women were suffering too. There were a few women there that were gluten-free, and they're like, well, I've just been eating it and my stomach's been hurting. So
And
that's
that on top of already, like you're so go. You're
Yeah.
talking to all of these people, you're learning, and you're already leaving feeling a little, you're excited
Depleted. Yeah.
but you're not feeling rejuvenated
Right.
and relaxed. You're just go go go. So that on top of not putting stuff into your body that feels good, it's intense, and then you're going to reap what you sow when you get home and like have to recover, and
Yeah.
on top of like just the normal day-to-day responsibilities and being a business owner.
Yeah. And I'm a mom of two boys, and I'm like, I can't come home depleted after a work trip when I've already like arranged all these people to help so that I could go away and then come home and like feel exhausted and not be able to help when I get back. Doesn't feel good. So our goal with our retreats is that you can leave feeling, maybe you're a little tired because you've talked all weekend long, but you're also feeling good because you ate well, you did yoga, you moved your body, all that good stuff. So we talked a lot about that, and we were envisioning and planning what to do, but we were still coaches with another real estate investor, and we hadn't done anything yet. But like literally a month later, I got an email, and it told me that I was fired from being a real estate coach.
You're
And
fired. I've been working on my Donald Trump impersonations, but I don't think or impersonations, but I don't think it's been going very well.
Oh man. Yeah. So I voice message Rihanna, and I'm like, oh my God, I just got fired. I can't believe it. Like, oh my gosh. I was just like, I've never been fired from a job before. And it was so weird because it's like, I thought I was doing well as a coach. I think I was doing well. I don't know what the heck happened. And then Rihanna was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Let me look at my email.
And there was a big email, probably the exact same one.
Yeah,
That's just
copy
like,
and
thank you,
pasted.
blah, blah. I was like, oh, I don't know how to feel. I've never been fired. I know I did a good job. And okay, well, this will be an interesting part of the story.
Yeah. So we were like, okay, well, I guess it was just meant to be. Like there was the universe conspiring in some sort of way that we wanted to do something together. And we were trying to figure out when we should do that, how to make it work. And it was like, okay, I guess you guys should work together. And so after that, we decided like, okay, let's go away together and try to figure out if this is real, if this is something that we want to do, if we want to make a business together. So we met in Sedona. I live in California. Rihanna lives in Minnesota. So it was a good little meeting point. Mm-hmm. And the first day, it was rainy pretty much the whole weekend except the last day. And we decided to go get our tarot cards read the first day because it was raining. We had our delicious gluten-free, dairy-free breakfast that the guy was so gracious. He's like, you don't want eggs in your breakfast? And we're like, no.
And he gave us so much other like avocado and all of these great things. Here, have this instead. Have this instead.
It was so nice. It was such a good breakfast that we went back and ordered the exact same thing the next day.
Yeah.
When you find something good with food sensitivities, it's like, why go? Why try something new?
Exactly. Well, if you like it, great.
Yeah. So then we went to the chai place and got delicious chai, and then was like, what are we going to do? We can't go on a hike because it's so gross outside. So we went and got our tarot cards read. And this lady, like with the intention of figuring out, like, should we work together? And we're both entrepreneurs that have like a million things going on and have these minds of like, always have new ideas. So I really wanted to get clarity on whether I should start something new because I have a lot of projects going right now, and Rihanna does too. And the lady said to me, like, it was cool. I've had a psychic reading before, and it was so bad. It was just like, basically she was just like, pay me money because you have a depressed past life that I need to meditate on for you every day, and you have to pay me to meditate on it every day.
How did you meet that person?
Well, she's right where I live.
Okay.
And it's been there, like my husband grew up in where we live, and he's like, it's been there forever. And I was like, they must be good if it's been there forever. But now I think it's just like a front for something else. But I just recently had that experience. So I was going in very skeptical minded when I had my tarot card reading, and she was just said all these different things about myself that I was like, wow, you were spot on. You were spot on. And tarot card reading is like more, you do get to analyze it how you want, which is why I like them. It's not so reliant on trying
That person.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like, but in the end, she was like, your energy is telling me that you are ready to do this and you are excited to work with this person. So, so after that, I was like, okay, I'm ready. And I don't know, I can't remember if you had the same clarity coming out of yours about business, but I know you liked her too, right?
Yeah, I really liked it. And I just had like the most massive headache before I went in. And then like 2 minutes after being there, she said something about clarity. And like all of a sudden my headache went away. My headache was so bad that I was panic calling chiropractors in the area to get in somewhere. It was like, I need help. I need help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it because my session was totally different than yours. And we didn't talk about our
We didn't
sessions.
talk about it in between because you went straight in after me.
Yeah. And there were some things that were very clear. She never said that specifically to me, but she was basically like, it's a choice. And the signs are very clear. Like you can go back over here, which is like, what you've done before, but it's not going to really get you to where you want to go. And so I'm like, okay, I can kind of read between the lines here, but I did leave with clarity. And from there we were like, all right, let's be 100% in and let's do this.
Yeah. So we spent the rest of the weekend like mapping it out. And first we were like, okay, how do we make space in our life for this? Because we both have busy lives. So we spent this whole long hike in Sedona figuring out what we had to let go of to make this happen, because neither of us wanted to like affect our health and burn ourselves out in order to add this in, which is what our podcast is really going to be a lot about. It's like prioritizing, figuring out what you want, being intentional, and making space and keeping your health a top priority as you're working on business and finances and investing and that kind of thing. So first we did that, and then we sat down, and then we started brainstorming ideas. We got out the Palo Santo, and I bought some goddess cards. We were doing a whole spiritual weekend in Sedona. We stayed at this funny place that the lady had a whole garage full of crystals. It was amazing.
Like so full with her chair, like a whole freaking store.
Yeah, it was
in
a
her garage
store. We thought it was part of the Airbnb, but actually you had to like ask her to open it up, and it was a little business, which was kind of a little, I was like, that wasn't totally honest advertising.
Yeah.
But I guess it kind of makes sense. She doesn't want people to like, there's a lot of little crystals, so you could easily snag one if she wasn't in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we stayed with this lady, and she was actually a real estate investor, which just felt like another sign. And we were starting to come up with all these different names, and we had one, we were pretty sure. And then Rihanna woke up the next day and had a new one, invested and rested. And I was like, that's it. Because we weren't totally sold on the other names. So it just felt right.
It all worked out little by little, like going through, okay, how are we going to make this work and integrate it into our own lives? What's our name going to be? All these little signs, they just kept kind of falling into place.
Yeah. And we also even talked about being scared about being partners, because like we've seen partnerships fall through, and it was nice to have the hard conversations too before we even started, because so many times people go in like so optimistic, and then it's like, no, let's be realistic about this and see if we still want to do it, if it doesn't work out. And we decided, let's do it. So,
and so excited.
Yeah. So here we are. And now I think it's time to tell you a little bit about what this podcast is all about and what we're going to be talking about. And you can see if you want to be here. So our mission together is to educate and empower women real estate investors to take care of their whole selves first while building wealth and freedom. And we're going to do this through the podcast. And we're also going to start coaching programs and have retreats. So that's what we're here for. And Rihanna's going to tell you a little bit about, we have kind of 4 pillars that we're going to talk about on this podcast. So Rihanna's going to start with the first pillar, which is getting clear on your why and your vision.
So what we're here to talk about is why we're here. Yes, we love real estate, and it definitely takes up a large part of our lives in different ways. But we're not here necessarily because we love real estate and we love tenants and we love overflowing toilets and we love kicking people out of our Airbnbs, not actually. Side note, we have had to have ask 3 people in the last week to leave our Airbnbs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it has been a week. One of them was knocking on, so it's 2 duplexes side by side. Out of the 4 Airbnbs, kicking out 3 guests in 1 week. 2 of them had extra people plus bad reviews. So we were like, nope, you're out. We have a very clearly written that you cannot have extra guests or you will be asked to leave immediately without a refund. And the other one was knocking on the neighbor's door, who was a woman by herself. And they were peeping in her peephole and knocking on the door. I'm like, you need to leave.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so it's reasons like that we're not here because we love dealing with that kind of stuff. We're here for what it can bring you and the lifestyle that it can bring you. And when we do a little bit deeper dive into my story and to your story, we can really talk a little bit more in depth about what our whys were. But I mean, in short, for me, I've always wanted to create a lifestyle that works for me, which is a little bit more untraditional from, okay, get married, have kids, have this white picket fence in the suburbs. I really love to travel. I really love to move around. I want to be able to say yes to random trips that come my way. So real estate is providing me some of those opportunities. Whereas if I were to stay in more of a traditional path, working a corporate job, that wouldn't really work together.
Right.
So the big things are time freedom, financial freedom, and health for Caitlin and I, like our 3 core values in investing in real estate and why we wanted to have this podcast and coaching programs and retreats to get other people together that are inspired to do the same thing.
Yeah. And we're not about having the most doors. We're about having as little doors as we can to create the lifestyle that we want. And for us, it's not an ego thing. It's I want to retire my husband from his corporate job so we can have more flexibility one day and have more time with my kids. On the vision board. So I think that's what's a little bit different from us about some other leaders in the real estate investing world is a lot of them are just have massive amounts of real estate. And sure, some people can want that. That's totally fine. But like at the end of the day, the more you have, the bigger job you have, whether it's managing the people that manage the real estate or managing the real estate yourself. Like I'd rather have less, but have them be impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great when people have so much and to see everything they built. And I think that's absolutely awesome. I also think it's awesome to be able to have 3 doors, but they are super cash flowing and you get to travel the world and do what you want. Or maybe you don't want to travel at all, but you just want to be at home and be with your kids or at peace, whatever it is. Everyone's story and adventure is going to look a little bit different. So it's really getting into what is important for you and how can real estate help you get to your goals and dreams.
Yeah.
And none of that is possible without having good health. I mean, if you ask anyone who's 80 years old, what would they want? They would want their time back. they would want their health back. And Caitlin and I will get more into our health journeys as well, but I've definitely in the last few years, I thought that I was putting health first and I wasn't always. And I continued to get more burnt out. I continued to have more signs from my body telling me, hey, actually, you're going the opposite way of where we really need you to be going. So we're going to talk a lot about why health is important and how you can have a journey that's unique to you without totally putting your health aside.
Yeah, exactly. Just we've seen people completely burn themselves out, and then it's like, what's it worth if you can't even go out and do stuff because you're so tired and you have health conditions that because you didn't take care of yourself? Like, that's not worth it to us. So we would much rather help you build slowly while prioritizing your health. So we'll get into more of that later. But yeah, we're kind of against the hustle. Sure, hustle a little bit, but at the same time as prioritizing your health and while staying rested, as in our title, like just making sure you take time to rest and have fun and enjoy life while you're building your real estate portfolio.
Yeah. Our motto is health first and business second.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right.
So that about wraps that part of the why, the vision. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about mindset and why that's important?
Yeah, so much of what we do starts with mindset, because if you're seeing people out there investing in real estate or just having more money than you in general, and you're constantly thinking like, that can't be me, like that's never going to be me, that's going to be the thing that's holding you back. That fear of stepping into that next level is what's holding you back. And instead, changing your mindset to be like, why not me? Why can't this be me? Like, what could I do to get into their position or a similar position and feeling more financially free? And just taking the time to do some of these mindset shifts and mindset practices is really going to help you get to the next level. Our brains like to overthink the negative, and they don't overthink the positive. You think about like if you've ever had a review or like even grades in high school or whatever, you get all A's, but then you get one bad grade and all you can think about is that bad grade instead of all the good ones that you got. And so just taking the time to practice visualization, practice thinking about what you want, your intention and your future goals. Like, I love a good vision board, like stuff like that, where taking time to have the positive take up space in your brain is what's going to help you get there. And, something I notice with a lot of women is they have these subconscious beliefs that wealth is bad and that being wealthy, there's all these greedy, wealthy people. And so they end up sabotaging themselves and not getting there. But actually, if you look at the numbers, wealthy women are more likely to donate their time and money to charities than men are. So we need more wealthy women in this world, and that can be you. You can do good with your money. You don't have to be a greedy, wealthy person. You could be a really generous, wealthy person. And I know I have big visions of that. First, to stabilize my personal life, and then to help the greater good. And I know you have the same, Rihanna. So that's something to keep in mind. And, relating back to your why and your vision, just getting really clear on what you're going to do with that extra time and money for yourself and others. That's going to help you get in the right mindset when you are going out and getting ready to invest in real estate or grow your portfolio. And just having financial freedom, it gives you options, and options really help your life, and they help others in your life, because when you have those extra options, you have time to fuel yourself first, like fill your own cup first. I know it's cliche, but fill your own cup first, so then you can pour out to others. And I personally noticed it in in my own life. When I'm taking care of myself first, I'm a much better mom. I'm a much better friend, all of these different things. And so, getting in the right mindset to be able to take care of yourself and go after your dreams is a really important pillar that we want to discuss here on the podcast. And we'll get some great guests and also, do some practical tips on how you get yourself in the right mindset.
Yeah, practical tips are going to be what's going to help you build your foundation for real estate investing and learn about all of the different types. Maybe you don't want to touch a turd. Did I tell you about that?
No.
So, yeah. So, my so my boyfriend had to touch a turd a couple of weeks ago when he was cleaning out a drain.
Oh my God.
So if you don't want that to be you, don't worry. There's like so many other options for investing in real estate, and there's other ways to do it while being more hands off as well. But unless you know what those options are, you probably only see it as touching turd.
Oh my God. Well, I have never touched a turd, and that's because I have a more hands-off approach to my real estate investing, and Rihanna and her boyfriend have a much more involved approach to their real estate investing. So we'll share both sides, and you get to choose what is going to work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting, and not just like having the shiny object syndrome of, oh, what's out there, what's trendy right now. It's like, well, maybe that doesn't actually work for your lifestyle and for your goals. Like Caitlin mentioned, she's mom, she has 2 kids. Like having these late night calls is not something, and working full time. Her husband works full time and actually travels for work. Like that's just not going to work for what they have going on and what they're both.
I don't want to deal with annoying Airbnb renters. I'm going to have my property managers do all that crap. I
don't blame
I can't deal with another one. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I clean the diapers. I have to touch different, at least my own son. So
yes, you do it in a different way.
Yeah.
And we're not only going to be talking about real estate, different practical tips and tricks, but also we'd like to have some guests on here that are going to be talking about investing in the stock market, in their 401k, index funds, and things like that, as well as different business building strategies. Maybe you're not interested in investing in real estate, but you're an entrepreneur in another way, or you have a business or want to create a business. We want to have some guests on here that are really knowledgeable about that as well. And at the end of the day, we do own real estate, yes, but we are business owners, and we run our business in different ways. And we'll kind of get down to some tactical advice and different things that we've learned on our journeys too.
Yeah.
And then also talk about budgeting, conscious spending, how we've gotten here by always saving a little bit on the side to be able to put that towards real estate, investing in the stock market, and different avenues that we've taken, and what could be practical for you to start doing today. Without all the practical tips, that's not enough. It's not going to, you probably won't be fulfilled once you do hit your goals, right?
Yeah.
And it's not enough. There's so many more components to actually have a successful feeling, to be totally fulfilled and to actually feel like it's a success to you, not just an outward success of, hey, cool, I know how to do this, and I did this over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And this actually relates to the next one, which is health. And my background is I've been a health coach for 8 years. And so I'm excited to combine health and real estate because these are my 2 passions. And
health and wellness.
Health and wealth, yes. But it relates so much to what I work with women on, is like getting them, they know all the practical tips and try it every diet, but if they lose the weight, oftentimes they're not even satisfied because they're not doing the mindset work. They're not doing the body image work. So, and the same could go for real estate. If you've made the money, but you hate your life because you're dealing with,
Tenants and turds.
yeah, because you're dealing with tenants and turds, then what's the point, you know? And so, you know, Rihanna and I have both had our own health struggles. They haven't been crazy intense. I mean, more than the average person, but enough to get us to a place where we really value feeling good. And none of this is worth it without your health. And what's the point if I am making a bunch of money and I don't feel good on a regular basis? What is the point? There is no point. Like, I've had days, you know, before I figured out that I was gluten-free, that I thought I was going to pass out at any point for like 3 months. And it was a terrible feeling. I felt awful. And had I not taken the time to figure out how to feel good again, like what's the point of having money? I wouldn't even be able to enjoy travel. I wouldn't even be able to, I wasn't enjoying my family life because I felt so crappy all the time. So like, just having those smaller health struggles have really helped me realize like nothing is worth it unless you have your health. So that's something that we want to help you prioritize, and also help you prioritize before it gets too late. We don't want you to burn out. And it's so easy when you're feeling fine, you know, just like okay, to just keep pushing through and pushing through. But actually, you're probably going to get to a state where you're not feeling good. So do the things now. Take that time every single day to have some sort of health and self-care practices that are going to allow you to feel good. And we know you're busy. I'm busy. Rihanna's busy. And it is hard to prioritize it, but it is so, so, so worth it. And we want to help you figure out how it's worth it and why it's worth it. And something that I'm really passionate about is not getting caught up in like the shoulds of, you know, especially for women with the beauty standards that are held. And, you know, for real estate, like the should of like making tons of money, like keeping up with the Joneses in these ways, like just getting more rooted in what you want so that you can stop worrying about what other people are thinking, and in all aspects of life. Like thinking about women and beauty standards, it's like we spend so much time on our makeup and all these appointments and fashion, and some of it is super fun. And like, don't get me wrong, I like fashion. I like putting on makeup sometimes, but I do it when I want to, not because I feel like I should. And the same goes for real estate. Like, you know, Rihanna and I talking about like having less doors. We don't need to feel like we need 100, 200 doors because that's what we should have. And that's what the top real estate investors have. Like we want to have an amount that helps us live the life that we want to live. So just all around, like holistically getting really intentional about your life, about your health, and taking those small steps each and every day to move towards your goals. And when you do connect with yourself, get more aware of your wants and desires and your needs, it's really going to help you connect to your gut and that inner knowing. And once you have that, you just have a deeper sense of purpose, a deeper sense of satisfaction in your life. And the easier it is to stop worrying about what other people are saying. And especially when it comes to this entrepreneurial real estate investing life, like a lot of people don't get it. Like, yeah, they understand real estate in general, but they don't understand like why you're working on this alongside a full-time job. They don't understand why you would spend all this money on it.
They just see the sacrifices.
Yeah, they see the sacrifices. But when you are grounded in what you want and why you're doing it and feeling confident in what it can do for you, then it's so much easier to just not care. Like I have people in my life that I told them that I'm in contract on a 7-unit building and they're like, oh, like literally could care less, like don't understand it. And like, meanwhile, I'm so excited. We put in 4 or 5 offers and finally got into contract, finally got a good inspection, all this stuff. And they're like, okay, like just don't get it. So we get it. We want to create this community of women that get it and are not willing to sacrifice their health to do it at the same time. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're all about. So if you're still listening, that means that you must be interested. So we want you to keep coming back to us every week. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcast player, Apple, Spotify, whatever it is.
Yeah, and join us next week and for the next 2 episodes here. So Caitlin will be diving into her journey, and then I will be diving into mine. And from there, we'll have some conversations that are just us diving into specific topics, and then also have some guests on the show as well. So thank you so much for joining us today, and so excited to get to know you more.
Yay, thanks guys.